Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we are going to be rebuilding Roma, my favourite team in the Italian league. Still got a very good squad since Mourinho has come in, but I feel like we can strengthen it even further. So let's get into the video. But if you guys do enjoy these rebuilds, please do leave a like on this video and please do subscribe to the channel. But let's get into the actual team and see roughly what we're working with. So, when you take the job at Roma, you actually are only predicted to finish 6th. Now, I think we can easily go above and beyond that because we have made some very good signings. Obviously, not a recent signing, but we've got Abraham, we've got Dybala to work with, got quite a solid defence and some good young players as well. So, definitely, I think 6th is a little bit, you know, we can definitely overachieve that even in the first season. Now, I'm not sure how much money we're going to get. It does say 10 million here, but it depends if we have any players that do need to go in this first window. But in terms of the actual squad, we're going to have a look at it here. They've actually got some really good players. They've got the likes of Pellegrini, Dybala, Wijnaldum, Patricio, obviously Spinazzola we know. Smallin's okay, he's getting a little bit old now. Tammy Abraham, obviously a striker who will be in the team for the entire save because he's a fantastic player. Vigna as well there. Obviously Zanilio, very hot prospect in the game as well. Ibanez, I'm a big fan of him. They have got some really good players. Obviously, Wijnaldum is only on loan, so depending on how he does, it's up to us. Basically, if we pay to get him on the permanent. Depending on his price, I will do it because he's probably one of our best midfielders. But in terms of actual team, we've got a really good team. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get into the first transfer window and see if we can bring anyone in, and hopefully no one leaves. So that is going to be the end of the first transfer window. And we did do some business. So first of all, we did offload Kluivert to Leipzig for 8 million, purely because we don't play wingers in the tactic I'm going to be using. And I don't feel like he'd get any game time at all. Good player, just doesn't fit the system. We then bring in 2 free signings. Now, Belotti's obviously done already, but he wasn't on the game. But luckily we were able to get him. So, you know, makes it more realistic. We also get Jason Denayer on the free, who again is a good centre-back. Probably going to be back up, but on the free, you can't really complain. And then we turn to Leipzig for one of their players, and we get Haidara for only 13 million, which is an absolute steal. This player is a very good player, tons of potential. Like I said, we've already got quite a good midfield, but it is about sort of building for that future. So the first player then is going to be Belotti, obviously a player that has moved there in real life. He was absolutely on fire a few seasons ago in the Italian league. They actually did have a chance to sell him, but they refused to sell him at the current time. And obviously now he's gone on the free, so not ideal for the club. But this guy, you know, he's not bad at all. Great finishing, not necessarily the quickest player, but at the end of the day, we're going to be playing sort of free up top. So he is going to get game time. And Tammy Abraham is quite quick. So it's sort of like having one quick, one slow isn't really an issue. So this guy definitely should fit in and score quite a few goals. In the age of 27, you're sort of getting him close to his prime years. We then obviously get Denayer. Now, this guy is going to be a backup centre-back, but on the free, you can't really complain. Got some good attributes, to be honest. I mean, 15 tackling, 15 pace, 15 acceleration. So to be fair, he's quite quick. He's not the tallest of the tallest. He's reasonably tall, but not, you know, like a Van Dijk tall. But on the free, the age of 26, sort of like a £7 million player on the free, is good backup, really does help us there. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, it was a good signing. We then go over to Leipzig and get Haidara, one of my favourite players to sign in this game. Didn't actually get him for too much cheaper than what his actual value is. I thought he was actually worth a lot more than that, but I might have been thinking of Mareba, who is worth absolutely hundreds of millions. But this guy, again, is very good, very well balanced with his attributes, and he's only 23, ambitious personality, and again, has got room to grow. So this guy will be at the club for the entirety of the save. I do not plan on selling this guy at all, because I do think he can grow into that starter midfield role. And like I said, only 23, so you've easily got 10 years in him. So sign him for the future, only £13.5 million. For me, very good signing. And this is how the team is going to look. We are going to be using 4-3-3 narrow attacking. I do forget where I got this from. I will try and locate that and put that in the description, so I always like to give credit to the people that make the tactics. Just to clarify, I did not make this one. Always like to get that out there. But I like this because we've got the opportunity to play free up top, and we have got some very good players to do that. So the first 11 is going to be Patricio, Karsdorp, Smalling, Mancini, Spinazzola, Cristante, Pellegrini, Wijnaldum, Dybala, Abraham, and Zanilio. Now we'll see how this goes because it is very attack in this formation. Obviously, you've got 2 attacker Mezzalas, 3 up top, attacking fullbacks, or automatic fullbacks. So it is going to be interesting. But I did want to sort of go out with this team with a lot of firepower and see what we can do. So let's get into the first season and see how we do. In the first season, it actually went really well. We actually managed to lift the Serie A trophy, I've got to say cup there, in the first season. 99 points on the table compared to second place is 85. So quite a big gap in there. We lost in the semi-finals of the Coppa Italia against Inter Milan, and unfortunately lost in the semi-finals in the Europa Conference League, but that was against Tottenham. So probably one of the hardest teams you will face in that competition. Scored 135 goals, which is a lot of goals there. Conceding 41. I'm not too annoyed about that because I did know this was a very attacking formation. And at the end of the day, the way that it's set up is to outscore teams, isn't it? If we're being honest, they've got 2 attacking midfield players, 3 up top. You're not going to be that solid at the back. And I wanted to test this because I've never actually played like that, purely going out to score goals. And I thought it'd be quite fun to test it in this league. But in terms of player stats then, we've got Tammy Abraham coming in with 26 assists, 47 goals. Dybala, 21 assists, 41 goals as well. 17 for Karsdorp assists, that is. Zanilio, 15 assists and 24 goals. Pellegrini, 21 assists and 20 goals. And there's so many goals because obviously we scored over 130. There's absolutely loads. Belotti, this is a glitch, by the way. Please let me know in the comments right now if you've seen this. Why do I have 2 Belottis? I've clicked on them, by the way, and they are literally obviously the same player. So, never seen that. Anyone ever seen that? Do let me know. But 14 assists and 41 goals for Belotti. So, a lot of goals and assists being sort of spread amongst all sorts of players, and it will be because we are scoring so many goals. Now, going into the next season, which obviously is going to be season 2, we've got 18.7 million, so a little bit of money to play with, and hopefully we can bring someone in, because what I try and do with these rebuilds is I look at the age of the players. If they're possibly on their way out, I will try and offload them and bring in a younger player, because I like to picture this not just as a 5-season thing. I like to picture it as that I'm leaving this club in the best possible situation. So let's get into the second season of transfers and hopefully continue to strengthen the team. Well, unfortunately, we didn't actually bring anyone in that we've not seen before. We actually did actually pay the £8 million fee for Gini Wijnaldum, purely because he is actually a really good player. And I thought he was going to cost 30 to 40, but PSG were willing to let him go for 8 million. There was no one else on the market, and I wanted to keep him in the team because he is a good player and a key player in this team. Going over to the second page, we did offload some players though. We got rid of El Shaarawy for to Leipzig for 2.4 million. Matic went purely because he was just having a stinker to Real Sociedad, and also Carles Perez to Hertha Berlin. And when I sold these, I did try and bring players in, but I simply couldn't. So we are a few players down, but to be honest, it's not going to affect us too much. El Shaarawy isn't really a big miss anymore. Matic, we've still got a lot of depth in the midfield, and to be honest, Perez just wasn't playing anyway. So definitely got a lot of signings to make coming up into the next window. But the team, again, is going to look like this. I will quickly talk about Wijnaldum first, but we do know who this guy is. Obviously, he is 31. If you look at his attributes, guys, that's the reason why you sign him. I mean, he has got very good attributes. The key ones for this, for me, are going to be his fitness, obviously decent passing, good first touch, good concentration, reasonably good off the ball. And I just don't like to take a player that's had a decent season and instantly get rid of him. Obviously, he is 31, but I don't mind paying 8 million for him. He's worth, between 30 and 35. So I feel like it was actually quite a good deal. Obviously, you've probably got another 2 to 3 years in him before he either drops to the bench or he does decide to move on. But I will show you what the team looks like, but it is literally the same, except this time, obviously, we are going to, I believe it's actually going to be Ibanez that comes in. So we've got Patricio, Karsdorp, Mancini, Ibanez, Spinazzola, Cristante. Cristante is very good, by the way. Do recommend him as a player. Wijnaldum, Pellegrini, Dybala, Abraham, and Zanilio. So a very similar looking team. Obviously, no real new faces apart from obviously the players that we brought in the first season. But it was key that we did secure Wijnaldum, and luckily we did. So let's get into the second season and see how the results go. So in the second season, it actually got even better because we managed to win the division again. So that's back-to-back titles, but also we managed to win the Super Cup against Inter, making that a two-trophy season. We do lose in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, but it was against Liverpool, so quite tough opposition. Bit gutted about the Coppa Italia because it was Atalanta, a team which I feel like we could definitely beat on our day. 120 goals scored and only 32 conceded, so getting very good at defending. I don't know where that's come from because we've made no defensive signings, but it's a big improvement going from, I believe, what was it, 4th or 5th best to the best, so fair play to them. In terms of the actual player stats then, so we want to see some of these. We've got Abraham again having one hell of a season, 18 assists, 43 goals. Danilo coming in with 16 assists and 20 goals, 11 assists coming in from Karsdorp at right back, 9 assists coming in from Vina, Spinazzola with 11 assists. The fullbacks really getting involved, I must say. Pellegrini, 14 assists, 12 goals. Dybala with 12 assists and 27 goals. Belotti, both Belottis, 14 assists and 28 goals. And down here even, we've got Wijnaldum coming in with 13 assists, which is quite good. So, I mean, and he's playing 45 games, by the way, so he's still got a lot of fitness in him, able to play quite a few games. So, overall, I will say a very good season, but we have been given a very big budget considering what we've got in the first 2 seasons. So, I do think going into this third transfer window, I've obviously got some players I need to replace. So, like, for instance, we preferably need another midfielder because we did sell Matic, and I know I said we've got enough depth, but we definitely could even have more depth and possibly even strengthen the depth that we have, if that makes sense. So, 60 million, I do believe we could possibly bring in even 2 players. I don't usually like to spend all this money on one player, especially when, you know, we haven't got a ridiculous budget like 150 million. I feel like the perfect signings to make are sort of players that are either suitable for the team now, as in they don't have to be completely world class, obviously, but or just go for young players that can grow into these world class players, because we've already got some really good players in this side, but it's just about picking out where we're slightly weaker and improving. So let's get into the third transfer window and see who we get. Before we do get into the third transfer window though, guys, if you are enjoying this rebuild so far, please do smash that like button on the video. It helps the video get found and it really does help the channel. And if you guys want to support even further, please do subscribe to the channel as well and turn on notifications. But let's get into the third transfer window and see who we signed. So, this is going to be the third transfer window, and we have gone very big in this transfer window. We'll go with the people that we sold first. So a lot of them went on the free, not out of choice. All these players, including Dwara, are people I've offered contracts to that weren't happy. So Dwara, unfortunately, is the only one we actually sold, and we got 6 million for him from Real Sociedad. We then spent 88 million, so, you know, a little bit over budget. But at the end of the day, we did get a couple of bargains in here. The first one is going to be Urakan Kir, I hope that's how you say that, from Trabzonspor, for 13 million. He's a goalkeeper. The reason I've done this is because our goalkeeper in Patricio, a very good goalkeeper, but slowly declining now because he is getting on, if we're being honest. We then actually go and get what I, in my opinion, is a steal. We get Camavinga from Real Madrid for 18.5 million. A player who I thought is going to be sort of in that 50 million price range, but obviously probably not having the best start in his Real Madrid career on this save, and that is why we got him for a good price. And talking of good prices, I even thought this was quite a good price. We got Makoko, obviously we all know who he is, a very, very good wonder kid in this game. And in real life, from Borussia Dortmund for 56 million. In my opinion, that is actually a steal. I've seen people, including a friend of mine, when we've done an online save, pay absolutely hundreds of millions for a player like this. So, in my opinion, although we've spent big, we've got a lot for our money there. Going in then to the first player, that is going to be the goalkeeper. Already a very well-developed goalkeeper. 27, in my opinion, is still quite young for a goalkeeper. Obviously, can play until they're like 34, 35. So we got him for quite a few years, and there wasn't too many goalkeepers that had his ability, to be honest, that were younger. So I wanted a goalkeeper that is going to be dominant, and I think this guy can do it. Very good attributes, obviously, as I mentioned, they're only 27, which is quite young for a goalkeeper, so not too bad at all. So hopefully this guy can dominate the box, get the ball going. Everything about him I'm a big fan of, so hopefully this signing works. We then go over to Camavinga from Real Madrid, obviously a player that we've all heard of in real life. And again, I was right, sort of a £50 million player. I don't think he's had the best start to his Real Madrid career on this game. Could be because he doesn't play, or possibly the performances aren't there, but he's actually described as a wonder kid. The potential's still there, so I feel like I can grow him into the player which we all know he can become. Again, his attributes off the rip, there are some which aren't the best, but at the end of the day, this is pure signing to cover us for the future, because this guy can play in so many roles in the midfield, and I think we can really turn him into a world-class player. And obviously the last guy, I don't really need to talk about him too much. Moukoko, already such a well-developed player. 16 finishing, 16 dribbling, 16 technique, good flair, good determination, good composure, good acceleration. Literally everything's good. We all know who this guy is. Again, worth a lot more, 90 to 105 million. So we did get a real good bargain on him. A wonder kid again. So 2 wonder kids coming in, only 18 years old as well. So easily over 10 years, probably like 13, 14 years striker if you really wanted him that long. So to be honest, very good signings. And this is what I wanted to show you guys, because this is where that little glitch with Belotti gets a little bit annoying. So he actually takes up 2 registration spots. I tried unticking it and this goes down to 23. I tick it and it goes up to 25. So Belotti may actually end up having to be sold. I'm going to be honest, if it carries on, because he's actually playing okay as well. But the thing is, I've never seen this glitch before. I don't even know if it must be a glitch, because I've literally got 2 Belottis. No idea why that's happened, but he's taken up 2 registration spots, which is an issue, to be honest. So I just wanted to mention that, because if you guys have experienced this, do let me know. But this is going to be the team and how it looks going into the 3rd season. We've got Huracan in goal, we've got Karsdorp, Mancini, Ibanez, Spinazzola, Camavinga, Wijnaldum, Pellegrini, Dybala, Zaniolo and Abraham. So a very good side. We're slowly getting younger players into the team as well. Obviously, some of the older ones are going to be Wijnaldum, Dybala, Spinazzola. I don't even think the centre-backs are too old. Karsdorp is reasonably old, but there's still a lot of young players in this team, and the bench is looking very strong now as well. So, I mean, obviously we've got Moukoko, who hopefully will get some game time. But when I always filter this by the best 11, and obviously Moukoko, at the moment, his star ability isn't the best. But this guy will definitely get into the team. I'll make sure he gets game time, because this guy is one of the best strikers in the game. But let's get into the 3rd season of results and see how we do. So, the 3rd season results are all in our favour. Let's just say that. These signings definitely have helped big time. So, we've won the Italian League again, making that 3 times on the bounce. We've won the Champions League versus Inter Milan, won the Coppa Italia versus Juventus, won the Super Cup versus Atalanta, making that a quadruple winning season, scoring 143 goals and only conceding 29, ranking us as 2nd best, which still is very impressive considering we're yet to have made a real big defensive signing. But this is absolutely sensational, literally winning everything available to us. And in terms of squad in player stats, it gets even better. So Tammy Abraham again dropping over 40 goals a season, 19 assists and 41 goals. Kellick coming in with 13 assists. Pellegrini, what a season. They've got 30 assists and 24 goals. Karsdorp coming in with 14 assists. Zaniolo coming in with 13 assists and 28 goals. Got 2 assists and 8 goals coming in from Ibanez. 12 assists coming in from Spinazzola. Dybala again, 30 years old, but he's still doing it. 21 assists and 39 goals. We've got Belotti. I was nearly going to read out two sets of stats then. Belotti coming in with 7 assists and 19 goals. We've got Moukoko actually getting quite a bit of game time, actually. 7 assists and 32 goals in his 1st season. Nearly averaging a goal each of his starts, which is very impressive. And down here, we've got a couple of players we can't miss out. Camavinga, not playing too many or starting too many, but 7 assists and 5 goals. And Wijnaldum with 8 assists and also 2 goals. So the stats still coming in and looking very good in our favour. I think what I want to do eventually is definitely bring in some... I'll use the word better, although we are winning a lot. I would like to improve the defence a little bit, because although we're still, it's not a lot of goals to concede, but that's the only area we've not really spent a lot of money on. Obviously, we did strengthen a little bit technically by bringing in the goalkeeper, but it would be nice to possibly bring in some fullbacks just for the future and things like that. But going into the next season, we've got £34 million to spend, so pretty much half of what we did have compared to the last season. But it still is a lot of money. Obviously, we can work with installments as well. So hopefully, we can continue to strengthen, because at the moment, we're pretty much winning everything. So I don't want to bring in too many players at one time. But at the end of the day, if I can bring players that possibly are just for the future, I don't mind signing them and spending big, because they can sit on the bench and sort of develop and come on here and there, like Moukoko is going to be doing. And then pretty much by the time these players do get older, we have to sell them, they retire. We've instantly got players ready to take their spot. But let's get into the fourth transfer window and see who we can bring in. Well, considering I said there weren't going to be a lot going on, this window was driven by drama. Because, again, we've had several players here that were not happy. Spinazzola was actually happy, but I just decided to move him on because we got a fantastic offer. And we could bring in someone quite a bit better at a younger age. So, the first big player then is going to be Smalling going to Frankfurt for £250,000. Spinazzola going to RB Leipzig for 29 million pounds. Wijnaldum wanted to keep him, but he was not happy at the club. Went to Hoffenheim for 11.25 million. So nearly 11.5 million pounds for him. Not too bad for a 33-year-old midfielder. We then spend incredibly big, 144 million pounds. Theo Hernandez from AC Milan for 55 million. Part of this was done in sort of like, add-ons, so we didn't pay this all in one go. We then go over to RB Leipzig, take another one of their talents in Dominik Szoboszlai, one of my favourite players to watch, a fantastic player, and hopefully one day we actually see him in the Prem. That would be my dream, to see him in the Prem. We then also get Douglas Luiz, a player which I don't really sign at all, but he looked quite good in this save. Only 28 million, so that midfield now has gained two fantastic players, and obviously Szoboszlai is one for the future as well. And Theo Hernandez is going to be a big upgrade to Spinazzola. Obviously, respect to Spinazzola, had a fantastic Euros in real life, but being realistic, Theo Hernandez is definitely an upgrade. Going in then, this is going to be Theo Hernandez, obviously 26 years old, so again, still got quite a few years in him. Very, very rapid at left back and reasonably tall. Reasonably good tackling, great off the ball, good determination, good agility, good balance. And as I said, this guy's got, he's sort of got 5-6 years. If you really want to push it, 7, if you really want to push him. Now, this guy was quite a bit of money, as you did see. We pretty much paid what his value was, so we didn't get ripped off, but it is a lot to spend on a fullback. But the defence is pretty much the only area which I think needs improving now. And we can't do it all in one window, because obviously we did decide to sign 2 midfield players because they were available on the market. One being Szoboszlai, who, again, is a very, very, very... I'm quite biased towards him, to be honest, but I really do rate this guy as a player. Good potential on him, only 23 as well. Reminds me sort of the Haidara situation. This guy probably will get into the team right away, but now you've got him, you've got Haidara, you've got Pellegrini, you've got a lot of players that can play in that Metzala position, and we're really developing a team that is going to be fine for sort of like the next 5 to 10 years. So, very good signing in my opinion. Obviously, you guys should know who this guy is, so I won't talk too much about him, but a fantastic signing, and I don't even think the price was that bad considering what we're seeing up here in the value column. And the last player is going to be Douglas Luiz, more of a backup option in midfield. Again, this guy I pretty much brought because he was reasonably cheap, I'm going to be honest. And again, he can do a job. He's just one of them players which isn't world-class at anything, but decent at everything, if that makes sense. He's like decent at pretty much a lot of stuff, but he's not world-class at anything. He's just a very well-rounded player. Good backup player. In my opinion, this is the player that sort of replaces Matic, in my eyes. A player that probably won't start too much, as we've agreed here, being a squad player. But this reminds me of Matic in the sense of, like, he's not necessarily world-class, but he will do a job. And he probably won't get a lot of game time, but we needed someone to replace that void which Matic left. And this guy is going to be the player we decided to bring in. And this is going to be the squad. So again, a very, very good squad. Obviously got Huracan, we've got Karsdorp, Mancini, Ibanez, Hernandez obviously gets into the team. Cristante, Pellegrini, Szoboszlai comes in, Abraham, Dybala, and Zanidio. So very, very confident in this team. I don't see why this team can't win the title again. I'm not expecting it though, because we've won it 3 times. It'd be quite unrealistic for me to sit here and say we'll win it 5 times, let alone 4. So I don't think we will win it. But I do hope we at least win a couple of trophies because this team is going from strength to strength. So let's get into the 4th season and see how we do. Well, the 4th season's come around and we have won the league, which I was not expecting. So that is 4 times we've won the league on the bounce. Winning the Super Cup versus Napoli again, winning the Coppa Italia versus Napoli. Napoli fallen in a lot of these trophies, and winning the Super Cup against Juventus. 131 goals scored. Only 30 conceded. So again, we're now getting into the best category when it comes to defending, which is exactly what I want to be seeing. In terms of player stats, I've got Abraham. This guy is unstoppable at the moment. Absolutely world class. 24 assists, 50 goals, 30 assists, by the way, and 3 goals coming in from Hernandez at left back. Karsdorp coming in with 13 assists and a goal. Pellegrini, 22 assists and 21 goals. Makoko actually getting his first 40-plus season, 9 assists and 43 goals. Belotti, 12 assists and 16 goals. Any other standouts? This is one good player here. Dybala, 11 assists and 25 goals. Szoboszlai in his first season did pick up an injury, which isn't the best. 10 assists and 14 goals. Down here, we've got Zanilio with 10 assists and 9 goals as well. So, again, it's really good. And what I'm really liking now is that we're seeing, obviously, Makoko, who is only now turning 20, is scoring 40-plus goals a season. Abraham is slowly approaching that prime era, so it's a perfect opportunity for him and Makoko to play up top. Obviously, the next player we've probably got to look at, apart from defenders, is going to be Dybala, because he is 31. He's still got a few years in him, don't get me wrong, probably a couple more years, but we do have to make sure we've got a replacement ready for him. So we might have to sign another striker who can play slightly deeper, because in my opinion, Abraham and Makoko aren't suited for that role. So hopefully we can sign someone that can, manage to replace him one day. But going into the last transfer window, which is going to be the 5th transfer window, we've got £80 million to spend, or 79 if you want to be in particular, but £80 million to spend. So a lot of money to spend. I plan on spending everything because I want to leave this team in the best position possible. So let's get into the 5th transfer window and hopefully continue to carry on to improve the squad. So the last transfer window then, the 5th transfer window. We've had a few people leave. So we've had Belotti going on the free to Atletico Madrid, which did fix it because now I've not got any Belottis in my club. We've got Karsdorp going to Monaco for 25 million. Again, very good business when it comes to selling old fullbacks, I think, in this save. I always get tempted by free signings. That is one of my weaknesses in Football Manager. So we bring in Tanki and Ndombele from Tottenham on the free. Again, good midfielder to have just on the bench, ready to bring on if needed. And to be honest, he's not a bad midfielder. He gets a lot of stick in real life, but he's just... I don't know if it's the clubs he's gone to. I don't know what it is, but at the moment, obviously, I believe he's on loan at Napoli. He scored on his debut. Hopefully, he can sort of fire up that career a little bit. But we replaced Karsdorp with Riddle Baku from Bayern for £51 million. And then in terms of the striker, I said to you guys, I want to bring in, obviously, sort of like a deep line forward, someone a little bit deeper. We couldn't find anyone that was good, that specialises in that role. So what I've done is I've gone to Barcelona. I've brought in Ansu Fati, who can play obviously as a striker, and out of him, Abraham and Makoko, one of them is just going to have to adapt and play that deeper role when Dybala does decide to move on. Don't know which one it will be, but it's very difficult to find a player. The only one I was semi-tempted by, but he's obviously a lot older now, is Harry Kane, but he was a lot of money. He was like 30s, not medium 30s, so it's not really a good business move either. So I didn't sign him, but that was one player that did come in my head, which I was just like, if we could get him, possibly. But unfortunately, we couldn't. I didn't want to. So we got Ansu Fati. So these players then, and Ndombele, again, definitely not one of your top targets, let's be honest. He reasonably isn't, but it's not horrific. He's got some stats that are in the green. 28 years old. So again, I literally got this guy because he was free. He's not demanded on the wage at all. And again, we did lose a few players, so it's always good to have backup, considering that at the moment, especially last season, we did have countless injuries. Going over to Baku, one of the best fullbacks in this save you can get. Very, very rapid on the ball. His tackling isn't actually top, but definitely it's reasonable, something we can work with. Good work rate, good teamwork, good off the ball, good determination. Very attacking fullback, to be honest with you. That's what I would say. And to be honest, he does suit the style, because obviously our fullbacks are meant to be very attacking, in your face sort of style fullbacks. Going to Ansu Fati, then we know who this guy is. I mean, his potential can literally get to the best in the game. Agility nearly sitting at 20, flair at 20. Good finishing, good dribbling, reasonably quick as well. But what you're really buying here is a 22-year-old that already is very good, that can pretty much become one of the best, if not the best player in the game. So, I mean, you are really getting a sensational player here. Obviously, usually does play on the wing, but more than comfortable to play up front, which is handy because that is exactly where he is going to be playing. And this is going to be the team then. So this is filtered by best 11. We've got Huracan in goal, Baku, Mancini, Ibanez, Hernandez, Cristante, Pellegrini, Zanilio, Dybala, Abraham, and Makoko. Obviously, the bench now looks ridiculous. You've obviously got you've got Szoboszlai, Fati, Camavinga, Denier. You've got Douglas Luiz, Haidara. Belotti? I did not even... Okay, what I'm going to do here then is, because I thought he was actually gone. As you know, I sold Belotti, but I did have 2 somehow. So I'm not going to register him so he doesn't play any games, just so we're going to act like he's gone, because obviously that is very unfair. I don't know how... I've never seen that glitch in my life before. And obviously Ndombele on the bench now as well. Now, this team is capable of winning the title. So we could honestly see a rebuild where I win the title 5 times on the bounce, which I think I've only ever done once before. So let's get into the last season and hopefully create a little bit of history in the Italian league. So the last season then, and we are quadruple winners again. We managed to win the league again. So that is 5 times on the bounce. Now that deserves a like. So smash the like button right now. That deserves a big like. 153 goals scored, 33 conceded. Champions League winners versus Bayern. What a final that would have been. Winners against Inter Milan in the Coppa Italia, and the Super Cup winners against Napoli. Now, I've seen this, and I had to triple look at this because I've never seen anything like it. Tammy Abraham, 19 assists and 74 goals. 20 assists from Theo Hernandez, 28 assists and 8 goals from Pellegrini. Viña coming in with 9 assists. Makoko, 11 assists and 41 goals. Baku, 15 assists. We've got 13 assists and 12 goals from Zanilio. 16 assists coming in from Szoboszlai. Dybala coming in with 7 assists and 17 goals. We have got Ansu Fati coming in actually with 12 assists and 14 goals. And we've got Belotti, who probably played cup games. Must have played 43 appearances. I didn't register him, so I don't know what's happened there, but that's something I literally cannot prevent. You saw me sell him. No idea what happened there. I don't know why I had to. It's a little bit annoying, but I'm not going to let that take away what we've done at this club. We've obviously won pretty much everything available to us, and we've won the league title 5 times on the bounce. Now, if we were going to continue this save, we would have been given 45 million. Now, what I would have done with this money probably is improve the centre back. So you don't need starters, but I would probably get better improvements. So like probably sign wonder kid centre backs to eventually take over the 2 starting centre backs. With this Roma team, you're actually blessed with 2 really good centre backs right from the start in Ibanez and Mancini. But the depth I had were good centre backs, but they were like older centre backs. So the best thing you could probably do if you were going to overtake this save and continue playing would be to bring in young centre backs that aren't at their best at the moment, but can develop, can improve, possibly even send them out on loan, and then really get ready to replace Mancini and Ibanez when the time comes. But over 5 years, I mean, it's countless accomplishments. It really is. Serie A champions in 2022, 2023 again Super Cup, Serie A champions, 2024 Super Cup, Serie A, Coppa Italia, Champions League, Super Cup. It's getting ridiculous now. 2025 Super Cup, Serie A, Coppa Italia, Champions League runners-up in that season. FIFA Club World Cup runners-up as well. I did forget to mention that. And 2026 Super Cup, Serie A, Coppa Italia winners, and also Champions League winners. So a very, very impressive 5 years at the club. And I mean, what a save it's been. We've brought in some absolutely world-class players. We've brought in, I mean, the team is absolutely outrageous what we've managed to do with this team. A lot of young players coming in, so the team is set for the future, and probably one of the best rebuilds I've ever done. But with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this Roma rebuild. If you guys do want any of your teams rebuilt, do comment below. I've got a big list. I am working through it slowly. I typically post between 1 to 2 rebuilds a week. This week it has been sort of dominated by tactics, but I am still doing my rebuilds. If you guys also do enjoy these rebuilds, please do leave a like on the video, just to show me you guys still enjoy the rebuilds, because I know a lot of people are here for the tactics. And please do subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on notifications. But that is going to be it for me today, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.